Hello and welcome to HLTV Confirmed. Everything is super smooth. I'm glad just 1 second before you went live, maLeK was like, oh, but wait. So maLeK, how are you feeling and what was wrong? What are you trying to point at?
No, I'm good. I was just making sure that everything was smooth. Some little issues with the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's having them, especially me. So God bless Corona plus Croatia, the I don't know, devil's combination, I feel like, for internet. Bleh, we have Bleh for this episode. How are you feeling? How are things over there in India and stuff like that?
Your mic is not working. You're muted.
He is still muted.
Professional
oh, there we
analyst.
Go. Professional analyst. There we go. I'm doing great, thank you. Everything's fine. Everything's dandy. My mic's unmuted, so that's a good plus. Fuck
yeah. So Striker, you're last.
Yep.
How's your cat doing during the coronavirus?
My cat is okay. My hair is not. Your hair is not apparently as well. Everybody's hair is fucked up.
Thanks. We have these headphones on, so you can't see what I did to my hair. But other than that, all good. It's gonna be a classic episode, classic Corona episode. Everyone's been home for like 3 weeks now. Everything sucks. CS is online, but what can you do? So let's go into the hot seat with maLeK and find out a bit about this kind young gentleman with a beautiful beard right here. Okay, so where do we start with maLeK? Obviously, people know him now as the G2 coach. Maybe some people remember him as the Envy coach and also the guy that played for Envy at that major in 1 or 2 maps. Unfortunate for him and for the team. Actually, it ended up well for you guys. How did it end up right in the end? Did you manage to go through the group?
We didn't. The game we played was actually making us going through. If I remember right.
That was like the tiebreaker.
Was it a duo die? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, there was like a tiebreaker thing at the end because of the extra spot or something.
Yeah. That was a difficult moment, but I guess I'm still alive, and that's experience. Yeah, let's say that.
I think it's every coach's nightmare to have to like stand in, especially last minute. You don't even get like any time to prepare like deathmatch for a week or anything. You're just like, well, tomorrow you have to play, and you didn't play for weeks. But let's go back to like where you started with CS. Like, what was your origin as a CS player?
Okay, I think it's like a lot of guys. I was like a lot into sports, and I didn't had any console in my life, PlayStation and all those things I never had. But I just had some friends at school say, well, you don't know about internet, that's crazy, that's super good, and we can play online. So I was like, okay, like I want to try. So I went on the computer of my parents in their room actually, and I installed CS. It was in 2003, I think, something like this. And I started playing. I've been in love with a video that got out by Fry Collection, which was a French CS video at the time, which was just amazing. And I started like this, and it became like viral, super viral, and I never stopped. Till 2012. So yeah, that's how it occurred in the first place.
Like, basically, at the worst time you quit, because like that's the time where it switched to CS:GO and everything.
Yeah, we can say that. And the funny part is that the only purpose of stopping esports was just because I was like 25 years old and I needed to do something with my life. So you just move on and you just like make sure you have a decent job, your family is happy, your girlfriend is happy, and then 2-3 years later you were like, okay, what is going on? What is going on here?
What did you do in well, I guess real life, if you want to call it that?
It lasted for 3-4 years, and what I did was like moving to London. I've been living there for 3 years, and I became, first of all, I work in some palace in London. I did some butler courses to work in some monarchy society events and things like this.
Sounds pretty posh.
Yeah, but you know, I was let's say something funny. I even served the prince and everything. I was the water boy at his table. actually.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Oh.
So you see,
So you're
That-
still
that
a
was
water
an
boy, right?
achievement. That
It's the
was an
same thing.
no, that's a funny thing, but it was a very great experience to live, honestly. And then I became a steward for a very nice company that was like only business class, doing London to New York. I was going there once a week, spending 3 days in New York and coming back. And I did that for a while. And my way to connect to CS again was to follow the French teams and my old friends. Every time you could see an event in the UK, for example, you had like the finals of Gfinity. I was there. And then ESL Pro League and ECS were like just next to each other in 2016. And I saw the boys. I spent time with them, and you know the story. Then you just have to come back somehow.
So you played during Source, right? So what
Yeah, I
kind
did.
what kind of players did you play with during the times? Like maybe players that people know now, or maybe some that people don't know, but maybe Source
Yeah.
people knew.
I played with a lot. I played with APK. I played with Shocks, Scream, Smiths. I played with Uzi. I played with Happy. I played with. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Sorry for them, but like almost everybody. Even with Existence for a short time, actually. Yeah, a lot of players. I even won a LAN with NBK someday. I think I did that with NBK and Shocks and Smith. I remember that as well.
Like before Very Games or something?
They were in very games. That was like
okay.
a
I
mixed
was like
event. We just went for fun and we played against all the teams from France there, like LGLC, things like
Okay.
this. That was fun. So yeah.
Just remember that at the start of the first answer where you said like you didn't know what the internet was, and I think like everyone is chat's like fucking boomer. Like how can you not know what it is? But that is the thing. That is the thing.
And like my mom wanted to call like I don't know her mother, and I'm like, Mom, don't call. It's not working anymore. And you were hearing like and you were like, No, I'm playing. That was that kind of shit at the beginning.
As soon as someone picks up the phone, then your internet just dies.
That was
the
exactly
game kicked out of the game and stuff like that.
And that was
good times.
56 KO debit, so that was intense.
Christ.
That was intense.
Yeah, it's like downloading one song for like 6 hours.
Exactly.
That's the life. That's the life.
That was it.
Let's go into like your kind of the recent times that what people remember more. Obviously, coming into G2, taking on this coach role. Maybe even let's start with the last, like the all French G2 lineup. How did you, when you came into it, how did you feel like what needs to be done as a coach? Where were you like in this role?
There is two important parts in this one. There is my own development. I've been having my ideas in the past as a leader in game and like how I see the game like in general. That was the third thing, the very good base. Then I started coaching in CSGO and my experience with Envy and what I did with another French team, 3D Max, I helped them for a few months, shaped me into things. But like the very big thing is Jérôme Niak, that is the manager of the team. He's there since like 15 years, this guy. He knows his thing so well, and he had like a big plan about how he would like to do things. So it's just me and how I see things, and him how we would like to bring up things within G2, giving like a project and a way to work for G2, because G2 wanted to go forward and try to like have their own thing and with a nice system in place. Definitely giving the keys to the management staff and not to the players, and try to make this transition as smooth as possible to try to compete good and having an healthy environment. So that was like the picture when we when I came in G2. It took a while, and basically it took us like around a year to put everything in place, trying things out, unlocking budget on things, and like prioritize like the things, and I don't know, building the best lineup we could, blah blah blah, and and we are still doing it like every day.
I guess obviously that lineup didn't live up to the potential or what you wanted it to be. Then the major happened, and we all remember during the major the talk started that Nex and Hunter were going to be picked up. Shocks is leaving, and it ended up all happening. You picked up these two guys. Let's talk about that transition, and for you always being in French teams and with French players, now having two Serbians come in. How did that feel like at the beginning when you had to go into English speaking and into like different cultures and stuff like that?
There is a few feelings that are getting through, and you know when you are like about to have your first day at school, you know this feeling. That was my feeling. I was in the plane after New York. We did actually descend with Kyoshima and last event of Lucky maLeK. I don't know if you remember. We did playoff against I don't know who. We lost against EG. We lost against EG, but we beat a few teams. But we lost EG that won the event. I guess it's something like this. And we were in the plane, and I was going to Malmo to meet my 2 new players for the first time ever, playing Astralis first game. And I was like, okay, I need to speak English. I have 1 player next to me in the plane that doesn't speak English at all. And let's smile and let's be happy. It will be great. It will be great. I mean, of course, there is like some scares and like you're like, okay, well, how can we do that? But then on a daily basis, we just realize it's all good. And honestly, we are very lucky because the 2 Serbian boys, they are such nice people. Like they are so good. They are very like family atmosphere. We are as well, and it's fitting super well. At least outside of the game, you know, you meet them, they make you comfortable. We just take things easy, and I don't know, like from day one, it's quite easy to do. It's just the language barrier that it's sometimes a bit difficult. But like, no, it's honestly a piece of cake, I would say.
Does anyone want to jump in with anything before?
Well, okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. Okay. I want to ask about like working under ocelote, because obviously I don't know how much people know him. I guess people from League will know him a little bit better than from CS, because he's only been starting to like do the same things that he does in League and CS and like trying to create that atmosphere, I guess. And there's this like I guess atmosphere that is in G2 that's only getting into the CS world because you know trash talking everybody and themselves, like have very like self-deprecating and stuff like that. Does that affect the team like in any way? Do you guys try to like live up to that a little bit as well? Like, do you get affected by like the ocelote aura, I guess?
I think it depends to each of us. Me, for example, I'm the boomer, so I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do these things. It takes me 40 minutes to tweet something. I'm not into these
like
things
maLeK
at all.
tweeting like this.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's a shame. Like, I don't know how to go with that things. It's impossible to me. And every time I see it's so difficult to me to jump in. But as a spectator, I understand it and it's quite funny. And now that it's getting quite standard, I think it's not pressure at all. It's just like makes things easy. The pressure we put, it's just on ourselves with our own standards. But if we are getting fucked or we don't defuse a bomb, we will make content for a year about it.
Yeah.
And at first it sounds, oh, I'm ashamed. What? They would do videos? No, I can't do that. And now, you know what? They are fucking happy to do that, the players. They are like, yeah, oh, bro, you remember what we did? Oh, that was such a shame. Yeah, let's do content. Okay, let's go. And I don't know. And Nexa is a fucking king on Twitter. Like,
yeah, he's been fighting back against us.
He's having so much fun. It's that's cool. Honestly, at first it was very scary, and myself as a person, it's difficult. But I think the players are fine with it, and it's getting actually more as a power thing because it's just fun. And yeah, that's good.
I mean, it does kind of work. Like whatever happens now to G2, you just make fun of it. Like I don't know what was the last thing that happened. Like, it was kind of recent. You had some like massive fuck up as well. It was like just made fun of it.
I think it was the 0-3 at Katowice. No, was it?
Oh, that one was intense. That was intense. I mean, we still did finals, so I didn't see people getting so crazy about it. But I think it's still a record, no? 0-3 that fast. I think we hold the record.
I don't know. Maybe.
Just good though, like embracing the meme, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my question would be like you did touch upon the entire language barrier and all of that, right? Especially for the French players, I know a couple of them wouldn't be as fluent in English. And when you are talking about the game and the game's going well for you, obviously the comms will be easier. But when shit hits the fan, right? When things are looking a little rough, when it's a very intense situation to retake, you got like 20 seconds remaining. Are there still issues in the team when, let's say, you have Kenny and Nexa, for example, that they're left alive and they have to retake a site together? How does it go about there? Is it still something you're working on?
You're touching a very important point. So that's very accurate what you're speaking about. When we are rolling, there is actually not even 1% problem with English, like not at all, because it's sharp, because we don't make super nice, crazy sentences. It's just like sharp words, bim, bam, boom. We are very confident. We are not overthinking or second guessing what the teammate is trying to say. It's just rolling on. So when we roll on, the high peak is even better than before because communication is sharp. And on a daily basis, we work on this, having like specific words that stick in the head. So, it's fitting well with situations in game and everything. So I love it. But the thing you are speaking about is just so accurate. Like as the second we have like some pressure, second guess, like losing a bit of confidence on a one or two players. Oh my God, you are losing the train so fast. It's so difficult to maintain the level of like fluency. It's very, 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 very difficult. And I think that's one of the main reason why we have difficulties sometimes to be consistent on what we do. It's not just about tactics. Sometimes we look like shit, and I'm hearing the comms, and I'm like, even before we execute or we redirect the rounds, I know already that if we win, it's just because someone put 3 to bed. That's the only thing, because I know beforehand that it's very tense. It's not clear. One guy is like, I don't know, Jax doesn't understand, and he need to space well. He will not space well. I don't know, and it's happening every day, almost. So yeah, that's definitely a topic. I don't think we are the only ones. Not speaking in your native language push you into that direction. I don't know how it is with Mouse and FaZe and all the teams, but when we get this second thought thing, that's definitely a point. Difficult to maintain to the fluency.
Do you think that happens more in like grand finals and matches like that, or
No?
Because I think going back to like FaZe had they were the first international team to make it to the top one, and still are, I think, the only one that made it to the number one spot. And they were like winning titles. They were in the run for Grand Slam and stuff like that. And they then had that run of like 3-4 grand finals where they theoretically shouldn't lose, and they lost it to NIP, lost it to all of these. We remember Cloud9 and stuff like that. And even talking to them, like they said that their communication in the grand final was shit, because additionally to all of the things that happen, like bad form, blah blah, you have the grand final, additional pressure, and there is where things crumble. So you had the Katowice grand final, which wasn't that great, 0-3 as we remember, but you didn't really notice a connection between that?
It can be a bit slippery because when you play good or bad, or when you choke on something, it's not just one thing. But like what I can say is that when you are getting very stressed, I mean, in a very high intensity situation, I guess you can have this mental charge. And if you have a lot of mental charge and you speak in your mother tongue, I guess you can handle more. I mean, it's theory, yeah? And if you speak another language that you are not so comfortable with, I guess it can make you having difficulties. So that's definitely a point. But I would like to say something else. For me, even us in Katowice, it's not just the comms. It's the event itself. It's maybe some players. It's even speaking French with the French lineup going into this final. We could have lose 0-3. Same for FaZe. If they lost against Cloud9 at the major, with what they could achieve for so many hours of practices and competition before, what they have been showing, and like the gap between what they showed against Cloud9 and what they've been showing the 3 prior months, it's not just communication on D-Day. It's also other things. So I don't want to hide behind these communication issues. Like it's a part probably, but there is something else hiding behind probably.
Okay.
I just want to ask one short question, then we can talk about the EPL results a bit. In one of the latest interviews, Nexa spoke about the term Bambolero, about like going aggressive on city sides, and we learned that that's just like an old French term. But can you share a couple of these like shorthands, something, or at least one that you have? It could be interesting to people.
There is a lot. I don't know if I want to talk about minis, but like basically it's just very primitive. This is one word going into primitive reactions. Like Bambolero, for instance, I would say it again. Maybe people didn't read the interview. What is Bambolero? It's like you are nuke. You are playing city side, and one guy is outside. Yeah, like garage. I don't know, left garage. And these guys are like, okay, they want to take garage, and there are 3-4 outside. So you can either play like every team does, just whatever it is, or you can just say Bambolero, and everyone is just leaving. One guy from inside is going main, one guy from ramp is going under heaven, and D-op is going up heaven, and you are 3-4 guys able to fight all together and try to just, we take this area because it's intense and we decide to put the fight. So it's just like things that can occur on the fly, that are keywords that in some situation that can help a lot, to get out of it.
So do you have a Bambolero on every map, or
no? But it's not on one area.
It's just a general term.
It's a general term that's every time it's relevant, and you have at least 2-3 guys that can in the next 3-4 seconds be here and fight.
Okay.
You say it, and whatever you do, you just come and fight, and it can save a lot of rounds. And we have other things the other way around. It's like you see people going outside a lot. You have a keyword, and you are just taking lobby back. They take an area, I take another one.
Sure.
And sometimes you have other things. I don't. Yeah, just those keywords that are helping to communicate and have like just a plan to take the advantage. And once you get this advantage on the round, then you can, even though with a broken English, you deal with your 4v2 or whatever, like. That's the kind of thing that helped.
I guess let's just touch on the EPL season and a bit of online play that you had now, and we're going to have a lot of online play moving forward. You didn't make it past the groups. Overall, you finished 3-2, so it wasn't like super bad, but at the same time, you lost the chance to like go deep in Pro League, which is the main thing now. So what is your experience as a team from Pro League?
It wasn't easy. I think 3-2 regarding what we have been showing is not so bad, because I don't think we played that good, to be honest. The game against FaZe was entertaining for the fans. Maybe it was tense one. That was we did okay, I guess, on that play day. Then we beat Virtus and Tyloo took a map out of us. Well played to them. No disrespect at all. It's just that I don't think it's the best face we could show. And then we lost OG and Mouse quite convincingly. So I don't say that as a proper results. It's like up to the thing we are aiming for. Sorry. But it's not such a big deal. I just think like online CS is quite different. We need to adjust with this confinement thing. It's not an excuse, because I think it's the same for everyone. But I still believe that one of the reasons why we are good within G2. Quite fast with this roster is because of the way we prepare, the way we are like being together when we are on LAN or bootcamp, and all the routines that we have that are actually making the team very sharp. We don't have it online. They are just home, they come, you try to replicate those things, and it's not working as expected. So what we do is just like we change the routines a bit. We are trying to find ourselves and do things a bit differently to adjust to the period we are living. And and that's it. By the way, I think if we would have won against OG or even Mouse, we could have even finished first of this group, no?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not worried at all. It's a bit of a shame that we don't go late on a later stage. I wanted us to show that we are like a playoff team that for sure we'll go to playoff on everything we play in, and I think we have the tools to. But it's not the case. So you know what? We will focus on next step, and we are adjusting the routines, and I think we will be good. And you will be more dangerous next games.
Can I just ask one thing? Actually, I just remembered something that we talked about in maLeK. I don't know if you remember, or if you want to get into that, like an advanced way of preparation, or just like analyzing your own gameplay. I don't know if you want to get into that, maybe.
Yeah, we can say a bit of it, but I just as I say, we have routines on LAN where we are preparing, I think, differently. Of course, Astralis gave like a first step, and we have all seen as spectators. We don't know what they do, but they are doing it nicely, and we just try to find our own pace, what is good for us, and it's very inspiring to see these teams working and having this kind of results as team play. The mentality is changing, and so we have we got towards this definitely towards this direction, but we don't try to copy it. It's like we try to find our own thing, what is working for us. Yeah. So when we prepare a tournament, we work on the opponent. We have some things. We also have our own strengths, and I would say, without getting into details, that we have a clear, precise idea of what is working well for us. Not just on feelings, but also statistically, timings, what is... Yeah, I don't want to get too much in details, but we work a lot around us as well, and that's actually a powerful tool to develop.
Okay, I think we'll move on to the recent news, and then if you have like more things to touch on G2, we can do it at the end of the show, and we'll probably have some viewer questions as well. So let's go into the recent news.
Dude, it's new and shiny. I forgot we have
I
a new
guess
one.
it is. Yes,
That's
we do
pretty
have
cool.
a new one.
That looks a lot better than the old one, to be honest.
I mean, as soon as Lucas isn't doing it, it's like the quality is 100% up. So thank you for outsider work. We have there has been a bunch of recent news. We'll just go through the key things, try to keep it as short as possible because we want to get into this weapon balance thing that just happened last night. Let's start with we do have the yay and nays. Can we get that? I'll just start with EG. ImAPet out, zews in. Very interesting, especially because of the way it happened, and of course because of what was said from ImAPet. So let's frame the question as something like, yeah, is this gonna help EG bounce back? That's gonna be the question.
Oh shit,
so
I did something. But...
you press the yay or
Probably
the nays.
clicked something like that.
Yeah, sorry, I did a mistake. Like, tell me what I need to do again. Sorry, I was like...
Full boomer mode, focused
no, yeah,
on the
that's
link,
fine, that's fine.
listen.
I'm here. So it's about what is yay or nay. So what's the question again?
Will zews help EG bounce back into like top 3, top 5?
Top 5, top 3, top 5.
Top 5. Let's go top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah. So, who is who on this thing? I have to actually turn on the YouTube.
I think. Yeah.
So Bleh says no and yes,
What?
and Striker is a no. Okay, let's start with you, Bleh. Try to describe why you think it's gonna help them.
Well, I mean, according to the interview that Chet gave, right? I mean, it's obvious that things aren't really working out with him and with Tarek and Stan. And if that's going to be a problem, I mean, it's not going to work if your in-game leader's not going to be listening to you. If there are like internal issues, you're supposed to work as a team together. I mean, it's kind of obvious why that's a problem. Now, I don't know. The reason I'm saying yes, I don't even care if it's zews or someone else. Anyone else coming in would be a plus at this point, right? The team have been stagnating for a while. They have disappointed time and time again. Looking at the players they have hasn't really worked out. So anyone coming in who is willing to work with Stan here, that's a big plus in my opinion. And the fact that zews coming in, I think that's great. The only caveat here would be the fact, we know what happened in Liquid, right? With Stan and zews and everything. Hopefully, whatever hatchet has been buried now. It's been a while. Things have elapsed. But the fact that they're at least looking to, willing to go for a change like this instead of just sticking around for a while and not really having any results. Yeah, it has to be a yes. I don't see any reason why it would be a no.
So why is it a no, Striker, then?
Well, I agree with all that, but obviously that's like a short-term kind of like an immediate reaction. Obviously, like if things are this bad that like literally one person or the coach is not really in agreement with 2 other people on the team, obviously there's going to be problems that you're not going to solve without a lineup change. So from that angle, I can see why a lineup change is needed. I do agree that it was needed, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to make any sort of big difference in EG in the long term. Like the problem, I don't think EG's problem was like the approach to practice or like some sort of preparation. At least I don't think from the coach's side, because I think it was mainly Stan and Tarek that actually might be like, because of their output. You generally, it's not a good idea to have 2 of those people on the same team and expect to be a top 3 team. So unless like one of them steps up, I don't think that's going to be like a lot of is going to change in the long term.
So what was said about like the potential? Was there a potential roster change? How much is known publicly about what was what was tried or what was wanted to do, because there was obviously a divide between the coach and Stan as the in-game leader. Was anything on the table? Do we know anything about that?
Well, as far as I understood it, then they basically, like, at one point, basically Stan and ImAPet or Stan and Terg, I guess, just decided not to prepare for opponents, not to anti-strat. And so basically, like, half of ImAPet's job is gone because he's just, like, obviously, like, he's partly an analyst because he doesn't have a support staff behind him, at least not as far as I know. So he was doing a lot of that job. So, like, all of a sudden he doesn't really have anything to do at home because he can't prepare for anything, like for opponents and stuff like that. So I think that was, like, a big part of that divide that kind of made it.
So maLeK, as a coach, how would you feel in that situation? If your in-game leader says we don't want to prepare for opponents, we just want to do whatever, play our game, how would you approach that?
I think it just depends of the state of the team and why you are doing it. If you have a reason for a period of time that you are changing things up, or you are trying to get to basics, you are trying to get to some roots to then build again upon it, like, I mean, you can do a lot of things and there is not one rule. But I don't think it was the way it went, to be honest. So if it's just like randomly, I don't think it was randomly either. But, like, I hope you get my point, where there is different period of time where you just need to find the very basics, enjoy the game, making sure you are working well, the system is functional, and then preparation against the opponent. It's definitely super important. But, like, what are your priorities? What are you trying to do? Like, just for me, it's just a matter of, like, communication with the players and the coach, and finding out what are we fighting for right now. Are we fighting for preparation of games because we want to decide, we want to know what they do or not? Like, first of all, let's try to work on our relationship we have and what we are trying to do. Where do we stand as a team? Why do you want to not prepare these teams? What is your goal? Is it something like forever? Is it something for now? And, like, like, making some deals where everyone can do a step forward, and, like, the leader is working, the coach is working around, and if you have a result, I'm happy. If it's not working, just make it stop. That's it. Like, I don't know if it's clear, but
no, I think the way you explained it, and this is like a very and just a very French way of explaining it. Like, you give a bit, I give a bit. But I think I'm sure that no one in the Stan ImAPet like conversation
probably
approached
not.
it like this. No, the two of them. No way they explained it like this.
No,
and that's why I understand why they are just like, fuck this. Everyone's going their own ways.
Like,
and that's it.
I get this point. And I try to explain it in this way just because. You will always face problems. So now maybe it's this, and maybe it's something deeper that brings that problem up. Like, you will have problems every day when you coach a team. I'm having problems all the time. It's just, how do I decide to do? So I have timeline, how I prioritize things, where I put myself, like, in front on some things, where I step back, and where I need to myself step back a bit because I feel it's something necessary. And, like, you have responsibilities that you make sure that the players are like having the right balance of it. I don't know. This is a very complicated subject, but to make it simple, I just want to say that if it's not working, the relationship between player and leader, that's my thought, to make it simple. That's a thing that needs to be a great bond that is very strong and that is healthy. And I think that's one of the key for successful teams. I mean, I believe in this. So I would say, to make it in one sentence, that if they don't have these bounds, they must, like, stop it. And that's why I put a yay, because I think that zews will bring something new, and maybe they will use players a bit differently. They will have a different approach. So I'm quite curious to see how they will use. Yes, there is Tariq and Stanislaw, but there is also CQ that is great. There is, like, Breeze that is amazing. Ethan have been showing great as well. Give me this team, and I can do something with that. I know it. So that's my thought.
I guess it also came down to, like, the sort of power that ImAPet probably didn't have in EG that perhaps you have in G2, because it's more of like the support staff that has, like, the power in terms of, like, player changes and stuff like that. And I assume that just wasn't the case in EG.
That's maybe the starting point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either the coach can do it by himself. There is a lot of teams where the coach is very respected, and you don't need, like, the organization to put this guy in place. So that's a thing. But I think it's a necessary thing to go forward.
So Bleh, what do you think? Obviously, one of the things that most people criticized EG on was like their super simple, puggy playstyle, stuff like that. And do you think it's going to change? Do you think we'll see like a different style of play from EG moving forward now with zews, or how do you see this developing?
From what I understand, from what I read, and I mean, it's again a he said, she said thing going on here, right? But from what I understood, it was like Stan's playstyle and Stan and Tyre were more looking for the more free-flowing, even more free-flowing style. Like you said, you're playing our game and, you know, a little puggy, like you mentioned. And yeah, they do have a few set pieces, a few, you know, retake set pieces, for example, in certain maps here and there. I'm not so sure what zews is going to bring. I feel like there is like a lack of identity of the team right now, if that makes sense. Like, you know, every team has its own style of play. You have Fnatic style. You know how Fnatic like to play. You know how Astralis likes to play. EG seems a little lost. Even Liquid, who have all these star players, you know, they have a particular, brand of Counter-Strike they like to play with. And EG seem to be caught in this weird state where, you know, they don't seem to have an identity. And I hope they find an identity. I don't know what that identity is going to be. I can't really answer your question on that. If it's going to be more tactical, if it's going to be more free-flowing, you know, a more structured, but still a little bit more free-flowing approach. I'm going to go that way. I don't really see these guys going under zews, especially going for a super highly tactical Astralis-esque sort of an approach. But yeah, as long as they can kind of find identity, I think that's a win right now. Because it's just a disappointment. Like maLeK mentioned, if you look at the players they have, it's such a waste of talent.
I think they're
very definitely strong.
And I would like to know, just to give some more context, how long did they perform before having their slump? Because they did well.
Like a long time, they were really consistent for a long time.
Yeah, and then they hit their peak for like a month or two, and then they went downhill after Star Series.
So for how many tournaments with the current lineup they have been able to be in that top 4, and then we are asking ourselves, can they do it again? It's possible. It's a matter of confidence. Can they like find themselves back? I don't know. I think it's possible. Like if you do it once, maybe they can do it again. Like top 5 is probably in the range if you did it before, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they never found that consistency under EG. They always had, obviously, like a lot of that came down to travel. It's something they were mentioning like every other tournament, because they played like the most out of everybody. I think they traveled the most out of everybody last year, or like throughout the last year and a half or something. So I guess that makes sense. But it's just like under EG, they've never really found that. I'm not sure they will because of that.
People are making fun of you in the chat saying G2 style, not planting / defusing.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
At least it's memorable. You can't say.
Yeah, you remember the style, right?
But that's fine. That's fine. I know that people are laughing so hard. Look, that German guy on the stream. That was amazing. That was amazing. That's my clock alarm. Every morning, that's my clock alarm. I have these German guys laughing at me. No, it's not true. I'm kidding around, but like.
Let's talk about Heroic shortly. Obviously, Tag signed for Astralis, but from July, I think 1st of July. So he's still technically tied to Heroic, but they're already looking for a replacement. So he's out, and Snappy is also out. A lot, like I think it kind of went under the radar, or they didn't even announce it that Cadian, like a month or two ago, almost started in-game leading over Snappy. So Snappy was just a player. They kind of changed their style, didn't really work out for them. A lot of obviously shit going on with Flashpoint and Fun Plus Phoenix and all of this stuff, but they're back in Europe, and now they have Stone, however you pronounce that, Borup, Cadian, and Tessus has been signed. What do we think about this? I don't even know what the thumbs up or thumbs down. Just give me something. How do we judge this?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to start with the obvious. Snappy out makes perfect sense given what you said. With Cadian, taking over leadership, I don't think it makes sense for Snappy to be on the lineup anymore. So I think it makes sense for them to, up the firepower a little bit, use that to their advantage.
Bleh?
Did you want to say, Bleh?
Yeah, I just put a thumbs down because like there's nothing in between. But I think it trends more to negative. Obviously, losing Attack and Snappy is a big deal. Obviously, they were looking good. Heroic were looking good earlier this year, right? They had some pretty good performances. I liked the way they were approaching it. They were hungry. You saw his interviews with Cadian, for example. He was looking really pumped up. And I was really following the way they were. They had this kind of upward trajectory. They seemed to have plateaued a little bit, and then this entire Attack thing happened, and yeah, I know. I mean, they picked up Tessus. He's been around there for a while. Not really. I wouldn't really say he's an upgrade, to be honest. I think he's a pretty decent fit, but they still only have a 4-man roster. So, yeah, they seem to be kind of adrift at the moment. Unfortunately, that upward trajectory has kind of come crashing down, and I don't see a way out right now. Even if they pick up another fifth guy,
I think the report is Nico, of course not the FaZe Nico, but the Danish Nico.
Doesn't really matter, right? I mean I like
Nico.
He's from what I gauged from Danish people, he's like the perfect fifth to have on a team. He's just like okay, gets along, does his job, put him in a spot, he's gonna do that, but he's not gonna like carry your team or like elevate it to a new level. I think like Tessus did pretty well in Flashpoint, what they played, Copenhagen Flames. I was actually hoping that Farlig could get into this lineup and be the upper, but he absolutely shit the bed for Copenhagen Flames. He had like a 0.89 rating or something. So I guess that's the reason why he was skipped, because other than that, he was like in the order for the next upcoming upper. Also, maybe Caden didn't want to give up the up, I'm not sure. But I think
really. Caden generally likes to style the team around his op a little bit, so I think that makes sense because he's quite aggressive. So that makes sense to me that he wouldn't want to give it up if he's in game leading.
Yeah, I don't know. Not much to say there. I guess we can also like Angel leaves Hellraisers. I don't think that there is much to talk about this honestly. When we were at this, we can just go straight to the weapon balance.
Let's go.
Where do we start? Let's start with maLeK. Give me your like first impression, best part of or whatever from the update.
I think everyone is happy. I think it's not an understatement to say that. But okay, let's put the Deagle for later. Yeah, we put the Deagle topic for later.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We practiced. And I think it will be interesting times. The OG is back. We don't speak about it, but I think OG is actually doing well. I like it. SG is in the bin, so that's okay. Maybe in City, as I said before the show, but like I still think it's still working well when you are holding angles. But I don't think on T side it's relevant. But let's see within time. But we will not see it so much. Yeah, definitely Tec-9 is a thing. We actually did a few pistols already in practice today, and I have the feeling that we might see it a bit. Let's see within time, but I have this feeling. Yeah, and honestly, the OG. Okay, we practice train today, so maybe that's why I'm saying this. But the OG is honestly more than okay right now. I think we will see it more. The M4 silencer, I don't know, like 200 less. Okay, I don't think everybody will switch to it. My players, 3 out of 5 are playing it right now, maybe more in the next days, I don't know. No, that's a very good one. The only thing I see, the Bison, so let's not forget the Bison. I didn't
French
try it
weapon,
yet.
Of course.
Is it good?
I think it's a Russian weapon from what I know.
Is it Russian?
In real life.
I thought it was French.
I think
French.
I don't know. Is it because I didn't know that meta. Like I came back on
it
CSGO,
is Russian. My bad.
But the Bison was like gone already when I came. So I heard the Bison was crazy good at some point on CSGO. Was it?
I do not remember that.
I don't know. There was a time at towards the start, like 2014-ish or like 13, where the Bison was used like in all of the anti-ecos. It was like the farm gun a lot.
I guess it was before people started buying like Kevlars and forcing.
Well, before UMP basically. Bison was the before UMP kind of like you'd go to SMG, I think.
So we just need to sort out like is it relevant now, basically.
The thing is, like, I was looking at the stats, and like damage-wise, it's still the worst SMG, but it has 60 bullets, so it's worth something, you know.
Yeah.
You can spam smokes and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you say, Bleh? What is your main takeaway? Give us something spicy from this.
Let's be honest, right? SG, fuck yeah, fuck that gun, right? Like it's gone. F.
But isn't
to
it?
pay
Let
respects.
me say this actually. Even though I just asked you to say your opinion, now I'm gonna say my opinion.
Go on.
Isn't it stupid for them to wait this long and then not nerf SG to like a usable version of the gun, but like shit, but usable.
Just killed
but
it, right?
they completely destroyed it. Like they did like minor. They did the money update where they made it a bit more expensive, and then waited 9 months to destroy it. Why did you wait so long?
Firstly, the waiting thing made no sense, but second, I completely agree with you. A nerf is different. This is complete like murder, right? No one's gonna use that gun anymore. I tried my hand and I'm like, this is not unplayable. I think it still has a few situational uses, but more on the CT side. Now, if you're a T side, you're not gonna use this gun. You're not gonna give them that gun, right? Like you could probably maybe play the back of the B plat, for example, with the SG with the Krieg. Maybe if you're tackling a retake on a T side, very very situational, not really worth it. I don't know why they completely killed it.
The thing is, I'm like a little bit skeptical about like completely killing it because like I don't know if you guys remember when the CZ got nerfed the first time, where like 3 different stats of it got nerfed, and like people were saying the exact same thing. Why did they completely destroy it? Why didn't they just adjust it a little bit?
But look,
and then people started using it anyway for like 50% of the time, and then like it was adjusted a little bit more, and then it started being used less. So I'm like a little bit skeptical about like everybody saying, "Oh, why did they kill the gun?"
The only positive thing about the SG now that you can kill people with 3 bullets to the chest. That's the only good thing, and it's like super accurate.
But
like
the rate of fire is
of fire is 545
from 667.
The rate of fire of a Tec-9 is 500. So it's just barely faster than a Tec-9.
All right.
Which is not an automatic, it's a semi-automatic gun.
I feel the AUG changes has been highly overlooked over the fact that the Krieg getting nerfed is like on everyone's tip of their tongues, right? When the AUG, the buff happened, or when the prices dropped and everything, the way certain maps are played, for example, the way Train was played by the CD side completely changed. And that defined how the map was played. I think even now, even once the AUG got nerfed, the way the meta on Train is, I think still retains some elements of the time when the AUG was OP. And now with this buff coming in, I think it's a very good, it's a viable alternative to the M4, especially with the scope as well. And I do believe it's going to definitely make an impact right now on certain maps, which are already slightly CT favored. And also the M4A1 getting dropped by $2,000. I completely agree with maLeK. I think it's going to be situational. Some places might switch to it. You know, you get that extra couple of $100 for a flashbang or maybe a smoke. Definitely is going to play a major role. I'm still sad they haven't buffed the FAMAS. Like, get back 1.6 FAMAS, please. Like, why are you doing this?
The FAMAS is so shit.
It's so shit, and it sucks. It's such a cool gun. I used to love that back in the day.
If I can give a little point, I think the FAMAS, yes, that can be buffed. But I think people maybe, okay, I will say that for all the casual people looking at it, like there is a lot of things we maybe don't know. But when you put burst fire, every time you are long distance, the first bullet is from the burst fire is actually super precise. The first one from your first burst. So when you are long distance, you rather put burst and not play automatic like one tap, because your one tap is not so relevant. And then you put your automatic on closer distance with FAMAS and it's still doing the job. So honestly, it's just a matter of like distance and how you want to use it. But FAMAS is, if you know the mechanics properly, you can do a good work out of it. Like, just saying.
The problem is that headshot with the FAMAS, like long distance,
I agree.
Like, it's going to be 65 damage.
That's
so
why
you still have to do like 3 body shots to kill the guy.
You need to do the nice burst then. But like,
get good, prof. Get good.
Yeah, get good. Just
no, but that's
don't
right.
buy the FAMAS.
It can be buffed. It can be buffed. Sorry, maybe.
Yes, I think like the thing about the AUG, it makes like the way they buffed it. They actually didn't buff the scope. They actually nerfed the scoping shooting accuracy, and they buffed the normal non-scoped accuracy. So in that way, it kind of makes sense that it's more like something if you want to play M4A1S and then you want like a better gun, so you can have both. That is my feeling of it. You can still, obviously the scope is still better than the M4 and it's generally more precise than the M4 with a slower rate of fire. But I don't think it's not going to be the AUG meta all over again. There is like nothing that shows it's going to be so overpowered.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
yeah,
there will be a few changes here and there. But I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be like AUG dominating everything. Tec-9 though, The pistol rounds gonna get interesting, man. Some of these, some of the, we have the raid boss buys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be interesting.
I don't understand why they bought the Tec-9. I feel it's like I felt like the pistols, except the Deagle body shots, everything was perfectly balanced. I think Deagle body shots are overpowered as fuck. On close range, you can just go and watch Rops on train on eco rounds.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. He's killing 2 guys every time, 4 bullets in the chest. I even found like a guy tweeted at me. I didn't check it, but like damage you can give to people in body shots, you can give more with a Deagle than with an AK or an M4. In like 0.2 seconds, you can kill a guy. It's just like tuk tuk, that's it. And you need like 4 bullets of an AK. So how does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. And then, okay, all the other pistols, I feel like everything was pretty balanced. Like CZ is kind of shit still. Like, why is it $100? But everything made sense, and now they buffed the Tec-9.
What do you guys make of the R8? Because like people have been using a little bit more lately. Like some people have actually
all thanks to one man.
JW,
I think
absolute madman.
We should speak about GW himself, no?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was like a couple of other people that I saw like started to use it. I can't remember who it was.
Oh
yeah, there you go. Vinny was using it for a long time, so I think, right?
Yeah,
Vinny was also the first guy to use like the AUG. Like from 2016
he's very open-minded.
I think the using the R8 is kind of more like a mental weapon. It's
Maybe.
Like, imagine trying to getting fucking tilted for the rest of the game, right?
Maybe, yeah.
No. Objectively, the R8 is shit. It is shit. It has no use at all. It has 16 bullets total. You can't do anything with it.
One thing that I'm still kind of confused about, and obviously that doesn't really have anything to do with this update, but still the fact that you can't choose between the M4 silenced and unsilenced, in the middle of a single game, right? You can only change between maps, which is just to me kind of confusing, considering like Valve's whole like philosophy of making weapons situational and stuff like that. Obviously, like the silencer is slightly situational compared to the normal M4, just because you play some certain positions where you don't want people to know where you are exactly at that point because you're silenced, obviously. So it's just confusing to me that it's not possible to still, change between them in the middle of a game.
Who do we think is going to be suffering the most from the update? Obviously, the Krieg being nerfed. Striker, this one goes to you.
What was the exact question again?
Who's going to suffer the most from the Krieg being nerfed? Like, people obviously talking about Brolan. He had like 47%
Brolan is definitely one.
A lot of his frags with the SG.
Did you see the tweet that he posted earlier? Like, is it too early to retire at 17 or something?
That's a good one.
He's a very obvious one, but generally, like literally everybody used it like recently. Like even like Nico gave in, related. So it's like literally everybody that has used it is going to be affected, apart from like Astralis, who stopped using it in ESL Pro because they started playing AKs only, just not to give it to the CTs basically. So they're probably going to have a leg up just because they've gone back to getting used to playing like a normal normal guns. It was actually interesting to watch them, watch those games and how different those played out when there was no Krieg in any of the rounds. Like literally there was no Krieg on the map. That's just interesting to me because you could actually tell that the playstyle was slightly different and people were a little bit confused about like which angles they can take, which angles they can't, especially as CTs because they're like normally used to have the Krieg every now and again. So it was just cool to see. So they're definitely gonna get a leg up. As far as who's gonna get affected, I feel like literally everybody, just because everybody's still used it.
What do you think, maLeK?
I think that my players are very overhyped and ImAPet is actually playing Krieg a lot, to be honest. But other than that, they are very happy. Like if you have raw aimers that like to fight with an AK without Kevlar and saying like, let's go, follow me, this kind of mindset they have, they think they are probably getting out of it positively. I do think that some teams will get a little step back with it. Like Furia got a little step back after the AUG. Can we say that?
Yeah, I think so.
So is it the same with Krieg again? Because they used it very well as well. Maybe they will have a little gap.
But I mean, I think they were a little bit ahead of the curve with the AUG. So I feel like they were on it for a much longer time than everybody else. Yeah. And I'm not sure that's the case with the Krieg because it's been used for such a long time now. It's actually been a lot longer than what was with Deagle like at the start of last year. That only like lasted for like 3 months before it started getting nerfed. So I feel like it's like at this point, since it's been used by everybody for such a long time, I don't think there's going to be like a single team that's going to be like mega affected out of everybody.
I think it's not so true. Because like if you have teams that have like a balance of like 65% of Tyrants win out of city side and they are not so good on city side, so you remove them the Krieg and then they need to handle like their city. I mean, it's the balance of how you win your games. Like if you win your games out of your T side more, then you get my point. But like in the other way around, like if we are buying only AKs and we are struggling right now. Sorry, I lost myself. But you got my point, or no?
I understand.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
I think those teams will get difficulties. But once again, now we have difficulties with our city side on many maps, and the Krieg I think is a part of it, and that's one of the reasons why we have like difficult. Let's not speak about those two guys, okay? Let's not speak about those two. Our T side is so bad right now, but all the rest, okay? City side is like so not so good, and I really think that removing the Krieg will help us so much to stabilize on city. And okay, that's very
I mean overall
thing,
everyone city sides are gonna be better. So people that had the thing with city sides in general is the worse they are, they get even worse because your economy inverse snowballs, let's say, for you. Because if you win 6 rounds, then you have like 10 buy rounds out of 15. But if you win 3 rounds, you have 8 buy rounds.
Yes.
If you get my
definitely
drift.
But right now, I will take my team. You remove the Krieg, you give us like an extra flash with a silencer, for example, and you give us on certain position a hog that is functioning a bit better. Jax loves it. He did 32 kills on practice 2 hours ago when I was with them, and they said like, bro, I got it. So I'm like, okay, so that's my city side. That's the improvement from the update. Yeah. Then I'm going on T side. Nothing. Okay. maLeK is lurking. He's entering sometimes with Mach 10. But bro, how many impact like about entering a site he will have like on our general T side? Not so much. It's Jax with AK. It's center with AK and everything. So the playstyle we have will function like the same, and I think we will not lose many rounds because of it. Like it will be very minimal. I guess the guys in our scenario will win, and other guys that function the other way around will lose. I give you an example. You plant the bomb, you could buy those fucking Kriegs after planting the bomb and using pistol, and then you get wrecked, and then there is this bad thing coming on. I think it will happen less. What do you think?
Definitely.
So you can build economy on city, and you can
the AK is still strong for that force buy. And I think it mostly just depends on the economy, which is still fucked, and it's still going to happen. But without the SG, it's going to be like that, like 5% less success rate out of like, I don't know, if it was 35, now it's going to be 30. Yeah. Okay, let's go into the EPL discussion.
Oh, we skipped a jumping Deagle?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You can have some fun about that one. Did you try to actually play a game yourself with it?
I tried.
Not a game. I just like tried jumping. Like I tried it on like a server, like jumping and trying to shoot it with it. I feel like it's a little bit.
This must be like not intentional, right? This is not intentional.
What do you mean?
They literally put it in the notes.
But the way that they described it is they
it's
said
when you land
to nerf the issue, to destroy the issue when you drop from like a small ledge, to then not be fucked up with the inaccuracy, or the Kerrigan clip, which we all know when he jumps on Dust 2 on that small ledge and then he misses the headshot because of the jumping inaccuracy. But what they did is like they just made it pretty powerful to jump and shoot. Like if you go Dust 2 and the guy's planting like for Cat and you are CT jumping down, it's like you're gonna hit it every time. Like it's impossible to miss. So this cannot be intentional.
So is it like
did somebody look into the actual stats, like what got changed though?
Yeah, they changed like 3 stats. They changed 3 stats, and one of it was like jumping accuracy at Apex. So now the Deagle is, I think, the 4th or 5th most accurate jumping weapon in the game.
4th or 5th.
I'm guessing like
so
there's
like
Scout
MP9, Scout, like zoomed and unzoomed, and like R8 and something else.
So that means like it's still. I mean, if you have other weapons out there, like an MP9, like the Scout, like how big of an... That's my thing. I personally feel, yes, it is definitely, I feel like it's a mistake as well, but I feel it's getting blown out of proportion a little bit by the community. I get that vibe.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
people have
everybody
clips where
saw
they
the
hit like
Hauser.
5 headshots, and like it's unreal. Like you're not going to hit 5 jumping headshots in a row, so that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But
I agree with you, and I don't think there is jumping shots happening on all maps, on all situations. I don't see that. Like, if you are eco, you have a Deagle. What would you jump? You would jump maybe CT does too. Maybe the guy is planting. You would jump
Mirage
maybe
B.
on Mirage.
Yeah.
There is a few spots, okay, but like when you have Deagle, I guess the opponent will have like SMGs or will have even rifles. If you are jumping, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, killing a guy jumping with Deagle. I don't think it will have such an impact, to be honest.
so the Deagle has jumping and accuracy at the apex 46, and then you have the revolver is 55, SMG is around 50, except MP9, which is 28, and then the Scout zoomed in is 9, and then all the other like rifles are 100. That's a number that they use just to have some. So it's like the problem with the Deagle is it's a 1 kill headshot. So if you jump and you're semi-accurate and you get that 1 bullet in the head, it's annoying as fuck, and it should not be. That's why if you have the MP9 and you jump and headshot someone, you still don't kill him. So it kind of can work out, even though I still don't know why it's so accurate. But people don't use it anyway right now, so it's not an issue. I don't know. I think it's bullshit, so hopefully they fix it.
Yeah, I hope so. There's no place for this in the game anyway. I agree that it's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the. Yeah, I don't know what the thinking would have been to allow for this a little bit more. I'm just not sure. Apart from like the landing thing, obviously.
Yeah.
I hope they fix that. By the way, I'm happy with that. When I was reading the line that you will have a bit more accuracy when you land, I think it's nice. No, I think it's nice they fix it.
Yeah.
But I really hope they will remove this jumping thing. Like, it's not necessary. I agree.
Okay, let's go into online CS, go into EPL. We actually talked about a lot of these North American teams already, but we have now Furia and we have Liquid and EG going for the NA Pro League title. What are like? None of them looked pretty good. All of them lost a bunch of games in the first group stage. What is going on there? Is there like a clear favorite even for the title right now? Or is everything gone to shit in NA?
Well, Liquid are a step ahead, so I guess that makes them favorites at this point because they're already in the final. But
yeah,
you know, like you say, like they literally just barely beat EG, and like they had to come back on one map and almost lost to a comeback on the second map. It's just like awkward. I feel like in NA it's even worse. Like the online kind of effect that is even worse in NA than it is in Europe, where like a lot of the best teams still made it through like all the way to the end. So in that case, I guess yeah, I don't know what's happening over there, honestly. I don't see like a clear favorite out of what I've seen, but obviously since Liquid is already in the final and beat, I think everybody, or both Furia and EG before, EG even twice before, so I feel like they're going to be favorite.
To Swole Patrol, right?
Yeah.
And someone else.
Wasn't that the opening match or something?
Yeah, that was the first. Actually, no, it wasn't the first game.
Was it?
But their second game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it felt like even EU as well, almost all the top teams, at least the first couple of games, was looking a little rough for almost everyone, right? They had some pretty big upsets happening. But yeah, I agree with you. Like Liquid managed to kind of right the ship. EG as well, pretty decent run, apart from just getting dismantled by Liquid just a couple of days back. I think these two teams really stick out. But the rest of them, 100 Thieves, disappointment, absolutely. But then again, there's always a caveat. I know we're going to be seeing more online events happening right now, but it's still fresh for us. So I don't know how to gauge these results. Like, it's hard to really take away anything from it, apart from the fact that Liquid are head and shoulders above everyone else.
I fully agree with you, to be honest. And there is just on the Chiefs. Maybe we can still say that from 1st of January till now, they have difficulties to bounce back. They did a bit in Katowice after they came back through the loser bracket and then did a decent job at this. I thought they were like about to bounce back, and then they come back online and they have difficulties again. They finish 5th out of 6. When you know that last year this same team would have probably do a better job. So we can still see that 100 Thieves in 2020 is definitely like something we can maybe point out for now. But honestly, this is the only thing I'm learning from it, to be honest. I mean,
yeah, they are also the team that, alongside Navi, didn't play a single game in the last year, and I think their last online game, not single online game, in the last year. So it's gonna be harder for them to come online than for other teams. I don't know if this exact lineup played. I think they played only the minor qualifier, right? Like when they had to go to Australia to play that before Katowice. So like IM major Katowice. So that was like a long time ago. So yeah, that is, it is what it is. Liquid is still, like, Elige is still looking sick, so that is more or less the classic thing that we can always rely on. Other than that, it's kind of weird. Like if we were in a space where we had all of the lands and stuff like that, and Liquid was on this level and finishing and was like 5th or 6th in the world, we would probably expect a roster change or something. But now that they don't have anything to play for except within the region where they are still the best, now they're kind of happy, I guess, with what they have. They are not pressured into doing anything.
But is it a good thing? Because like I don't think it's a good thing, because like
that they can't change, or what is not a good thing?
I think it's not a good thing to not have this healthy pressure of like going to events, competing within the best, because that time is going along, like time is passing by. Yeah, this is what we say. I think time is passing by, and do you try to actually get better? Do you try to find yourself in 2020 with the version of Liquid they are supposed to have, or they are looking for? I am coaching a team on a daily basis, and like working from online, finding proper objectives and actually trying every day to push yourself. On paper, it's beautiful, but like the guy that is waking up like half an hour before practice and like he's home every day, no LAN on the horizon. I don't like this at all, and I think a lot of team will have problems with all the lineup with like 2, 3, 4 players that are not like really responsible and very, very hardworking towards the game. I think they will be impacted negatively. I know it. And all the guys that are actually hard workers, towards like watching demos and building a nice game, will benefit from it because they can put practice and they can actually have more time to iterate. Can I say iterate? Iteration?
Yeah.
Iterate on what you do and like building up. So from my point of view, this is what I see. As a coach from the inside, we need to see like what lineup are hard workers inside it and what lineups are working on different things. When I see Liquid on paper, I'm not judging at all because I don't know them. But from the outside, even last year when they had a very super nice run, what I see is like it's like this Ferrari working so nicely, like these mechanics, they are all so on point individually. They are like so sharp. They are not doing anything special. Tournament to tournament, the game is not changing. It's always the same game plans. Elige on overpass, same timings, pushing A long for fucking 6 months. Like always Tiwi having the same spot, like always the same reactions to everything, but they were so on point. So that was working on LAN. But now you put those guys on a daily basis without events. How do they, build themselves into hardworking and like I don't know. I think it's super bad. I don't know if you get my point, but from the inside point of view,
I have a yay or nay. Do we think that because of the obviously NA having less good teams and having less like the competition there isn't as tough, so they don't have the motivation, I guess, to practice as hard? Do we see then when all of this ends, let's say 6 months from now, we go back to the normal tournament circuit, do we see European teams dominating for like 6 months or something like that because of this difference between the two? We can do a yay or nay if you have the buttons.
It's a bit 6 months, bro. Come on,
that's a long time. Yeah,
it's a long time. I mean, when you win last year 6 months, Liquid, they will be maybe rusty 1-2 events, and then they will come back. They are a great team. They can definitely come back to it. Me, I'm thinking more of a rust, for like a while where they are like, oh, what, we are behind, and then they will grind a bit, and in the space of 2 months they can like probably bounce back. So 6 months, it's an A. But if you say being rusty and having a European team working better and having more in the top 10, having a more stacked European team on the top, yeah, I do think that, yeah, definitely. So do I put a yeah in that scenario or what?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I guess. They're just definitely going to get affected, right? Just because of what you say, they're literally not going to be able to play against. Basically, like for like with the only other top 10 team they can play is EG, and then like 100 Thieves, like
and they're not playing EG.
They're not playing EG.
I don't think they're playing EG.
That's the thing. Can you imagine 6 months? You cannot have decent practice like with a lot of panel of kind of teams you play. Imagine like even the bans. You have 3-4 teams you can play. You want to practice nuke, and 3 out of 4 don't play nuke. You need to compete against Astralis, G2, OG. What the fuck? Like it's no way, bro. You get wrecked next tournament.
Yeah.
End of story. Period.
Just generally going back to your point about like online CS and like less pressure, that's definitely going to be a problem. Just because obviously like online CS in general has just been like for everybody, it's like man, whatever, the results don't really matter too much, it's online, whatever. Obviously it's the only thing happening right now, and it's probably going to be for like at least another 3 months or maybe even 4. I think with what's been announced, like in that time, like for like let's say for 6 months to not care about results too much, like that's going to affect a lot of teams, as you said.
Yeah, it will.
Because like somebody just like goes out of EPL like fairly early, they're not going to care too much about it. Okay, it's just like online CS. Obviously, it's the only thing happening right now, but still, it's just, you know, it's not a massive event or anything like that. They just like they have another one lined up. They have like the major ranking around the corner and stuff like that, so it's not going to be a big deal. So for that, I can definitely see your point.
Yeah, I to make it simple, I see this as a reset button from that can give just distribute cards. I don't know. It's like a reset button to me. Some teams we get out of it because I don't know. I'll give you an example. We had like a good run beginning of 2020. It's bad for us that there is a confinement and not LAN anymore, because we were like on this trend where like going to an event again, going in Malta for Pro League would have served us way better, because we are building confidence, we have our routines, it would have helped us. But when you have a team that have a bad results at Katowice, they are very not happy, and they have like hard workers in the team, and they will, you know, this guy I know because I've been losing enough to tell you that when you lose, you come back online and honestly you practice hard and you are like going towards your goals, and I think those teams will get out of it definitely better. So that's the first point. Second point is what I say, like if you say in NA without being in Europe for 6 months, without practicing properly, this is definitely not helping. So that's my 2 points out of it, like 100%. So what to get out of the next event online, bro? It will be wide and it will be full reset. Anything can happen. Like it will be very weird for me. And if it's long enough in time, like let's say 6 proper months without any event, and we are locked down in our regions, I really think, bro, I hope you prepare your popcorns. It will be super weird next event. And even the meta, by the way, because when you have the major, when you have CIS team, yeah, CIS is shit. They prepare a certain way, they have a certain play style, they are not so good. And then you have like a Seaman beating Vitality at Major Berlin on those two. Bro, how much money do you put on Seaman on that game? Not much. Not much.
Can someone just clip that part where he says yes and shit, and just that, and put it on VK like or somewhere, send it to Overdrive, and those guys to like flame him so hard.
No, but I, it's nice for them that they are doing it. So what I'm saying like is like you have the on meta like developing themselves, so you will get surprised. There is this reset button, and there is like definitely like the like you will have 5-6 European teams that will be crazy good after the break. That's what,
let me ask you, Bleh, then what is the best European team right now?
I test past Astralis, right? Sure, they had that initial.
Yeah, you could go for Fnatic as well. If you ask me. Like when I watch Fnatic play, they play good CS.
They do. They seem to have fun as well. They seem very relaxed. If you look at many of the teams playing, right? Like obviously you can't see the body language, but their in-game body language just seems like, I don't want to say they don't give a fuck. Obviously they give a fuck. They want to win, obviously. But there's even when they're losing, even let's say on a 9-6 half and they're on the losing side, they just seem to be very relaxed, and I think that's a really good sign for Fnatic right now. But Astralis, that dismantling of who did they face on? OG. They completely dismantled them, and I'm
Also,
watching
mouse
that game.
sports.
Did
Mouse
you-
as well.
Did you
Watching
watch
that
the game? Yeah, you watched the game, yeah?
Yeah.
But did you see how well Astralis was prepared?
Yeah, yes, that's the thing. That was what's scary, because I was looking at that. I'm like, if I was OG, even if I was watching the game right now, even if I had, even if I could see where Astralis was set up, I'm like, what would I do against that? That was terrifying for an online game, right? So 100% they're the best team, but I think Fnatic are looking so damn good right now. That's so cool. Navi #1, and yes, there is a caveat that they're all playing online right now, but Jesus Christ, that team is like ups and downs, man. Like, it's frustrating. I feel so bad for Simple. I think everyone feels bad for Simple.
What do you say, maLeK? From your first-hand perspective, having some scrim, also you have scrim data, so maybe some teams did well in officials or didn't do and are good in scrims.
I have difficulties out of scrim because first of all, we don't scrim the
best teams.
The best teams every day. We keep it just time to times. Like we don't play.
Is that out of choice or just the way that works out?
I don't think it is. I just think we like to not stack our days and playing Fnatic or Astralis all day. I don't think it makes any sense. But we are playing each other, of course, but just more like a episodic thing. There is so many good teams in Europe. On practice, you can find very decent practice easy. So best team. I think it's okay. I was amazed by the game. Astralis against OG was amazing. I loved it for so many reasons. We practiced them yesterday. They were very sharp. I like what they did.
Astralis, you mean?
Yeah. Astralis is good. I just want to still highlight mouse sports and mouse sports is doing well. But they are inconsistent a bit lately. It's rather the smash people, rather they are getting smashed or not winning well. They lost hardly against Astralis.
They won 4 rounds in 2 maps. Jesus.
But they lost another game a few days before. What was
that?
That
was OG. No, that was not. Yeah, no,
OG. First round, but they got the revenge later. They lost the opening game, against OG. If I remember.
And they also lost to Fnatic the day before Astralis.
Yes.
16-7, 16-13. So that was also pretty one-sided.
That's a bit weird to me because I think they are very in a good spot. I think they are good. I will go for Astralis if I need to give a name, but mouse sports, the high peak of our mouse sports is very high.
Can I just ask you something about Astralis? Obviously, we talked about this last time because the S-Attack news came out when we had the last show. What do you think about this? Do you think it's bullshit that they're going to actually use a 6-man lineup? Do you think it's just to give their players rest? How do you think it's going to work?
I think that's a wide topic, and I really think that if they did it, they have a big plan. And is it stopping at 6, or do they have even a 7th or whatever? I'm very curious to see that in the future. Is it nice? I don't know. For many reasons, it's not working in the current system we have. I mean, me, in my team right now, I have a 6 guy that is coming in. It will need adjustment and to make it work. But as I heard, it was coming from the players. Is it? Yeah. Also, players are
kind of behind
it. Yeah. Okay.
That's what they say.
It's just something we don't know about, and we need more data. So I guess they will do it as nice as they can, and we will learn and see what is going on. I don't know. Okay, I will speak about Astralis. They have the same lineup since so long, yeah. And if they make S-Attack fit in, even for a period of time, let's say I have a break May to next major. No, not next major, August till November. S-Attack is playing because this guy is having his own issue. He wants to take a break. He's going out. They are preparing with S-Attack. Maybe it's working. And the guy, Device, or I don't know who is stealing the lineup, and it's working. So I get why they do that, because otherwise they need to do a roster change. why would you change a player in Astralis? Like, no way you change a player in Astralis. There is no way. Like, impossible. That's the best lineup we ever seen in the game.
Well, that's exactly my point, right? So that kind of makes it look like this is just going to be like basically like a temporary stand-in, like a permanent temporary stand-in, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, that's the first part of it. I see it like this. But like, if us G2 we do it tomorrow, how? Like, very difficult. In the current state, I think it's very difficult. Argo is trying to do it right now. I know they are working with university in their country, and they are working out of statistics, and they are trying to get the players in a certain way to try them out, and like they are like trying to read like Moneyball the movie, you know, like they are trying to work like this. I heard something like this about them, and I'm not sure it's like so successful. So maybe it's good, but not for a tier 1 team. Okay, in the case of Astralis, maybe if it's just to rest, but like for tier 1 CS, I think it's not relevant right now. I think it's better to find new talent or tier 3 teams that maybe like work with different players, so they can have like a better knowledge, they can have better supports, they can develop themselves better with a better structure around them. I don't know. I see that.
I guess also the thing what you're trying to say is like you can go like wide with it. Like the net of players can be wide, so you can find out what is good. And in Astralis' case, you already have what is good and prove it to be good. So you don't really have to experiment that much.
Yes, exactly. So, but like in the middle, there is like other lineups. Like us, for example, we have 6 months live with our lineup. If I bring another guy, and I'm still right now with my 5 players trying to figure out how to use maLeK in certain scenarios, and how to emphasize this or Kenny on these passive aggressive things, how to work around it. And I'm still working so hard on my main topic with 5 players, and you bring me another one. Like, honestly, if I want to have the best results with G2 right now, giving me a 6th player would not help me. Like, it's not realistic to my point of view. Even though on paper, I can see other things to develop young talents and find like, you know, having better structure to get into the higher levels. And then like Astralis, you have it all there already, and you just want to rest, and you go on the bench for a while, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what you think about that. It's just going to be
difficult on. I think it's just going to be difficult on a Setag if that's the case, because he could replace literally everybody on that team. And even though he is kind of like all around, like a very all around player, does a lot of different roles or did a lot of different roles, it's just going to be difficult for him to like learn literally everything that everybody does.
Yeah, but I don't think it will work like this, to be honest. Is it? It's not realistic.
I don't think it will. But let's go onwards to maLeK versus Twitch chat with.
Where do I see that? Help me.
We have to roll the intro first. Boomer maLeK strikes again.
Okay, so brief me, bro.
Okay, so Twitch chat versus maLeK. Who is smarter? We'll find out, obviously, because this 100% decides the IQ of the average Twitch user in our chat versus maLeK. So I have a question for Lucas, our producer. Can we roll a giveaway quickly? Not right away, just like in 5 minutes.
Why?
So if the Twitch chat wins, we give away 1 HLTV shirt. That's the deal.
Wow.
So it's pressure on maLeK to save us 20 euros.
Okay.
I would have thought we would give maLeK the shirt, but okay.
If maLeK wins, he gets the shirt. That's it. I just called executive decision. But maLeK also gets one. He can ask one question to Bleh. Bleh can fill him in for one question.
Oh shit! I can call him to help me out. Okay.
Yeah, it's like call a friend.
Okay. I will do that. But I click on the link you sent me. It's just a graphic thing about are you smarter than Twitch chat. So
yes. And Lucas will run it when you're ready.
I stay on this thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. So first question: which player was a member of North Academy? Was it A, Borup, B, Shush, or C, Babsky? What do you think? Who could it be? Who are like this guy? Borup is now heroic. Mad Lions. Did you click?
I think I did. I'm not
Okay.
sure about what I did, but I think I did.
You did.
Let's see what we have for the answer. You both went for Borup, and that would be correct. So that's an easy first answer. Let's go into the second question. 1-1, both the chat and maLeK got it. So Ace or Predator Masters Season 1 had a best of 7 grand final. How many maps were played? Was it A5, B6, or C7?
It was a best of 7, yeah?
Best of 7. So this is going to be a tricky one. Obviously, not a very popular event, but we see
this.
here Angel has a beer and a trophy, so Cataracers won it. Let's see.
It was against Mouseports, wasn't it?
So you went for you went for 6, and chat went for 7. The final score was 4-3, but there was a map advantage. So people that Googled got fucked by it because only 6 maps were played.
Yeah,
Hope
maLeK is
fuck
correct.
with chat.
I'm a boomer. I'm not using Google, bro.
Alta Vista.
Prof found the
maLeK.
question. Prof found the question with which to fuck Twitch chat.
Yes.
Genius.
So 2-1. Let's go into the third question. maLeK is ahead.
Shit,
How
I
many
hope
French players have won a major? 6, A7, B8, or C9?
It's an easy one, huh? I
This
mean,
should
I
be
say
an
that, I
easy
hope
one.
I'm not wrong, bro. I think
But
I
you
may be
know,
wrong.
Adding,
like, I
adding
don't
is
think
not
so.
that easy.
Really? Ah.
2 plus 2 is 5. Plus 1, 7.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let's see.
So, let's see. You went for 7, and Twitch chat
Maybe
went
I'm
for
wrong.
8.
Am I
Again, maLeK is correct.
Nice.
3-1.
It's
Wow.
just that LDLC and then they change Smith and Shocks like swapped like
Or Apex and Kenny.
and Kenny. So yeah.
That's 5 plus 2 is 7.
Yes.
I even did the hint. I even said 7. 3-1, yeah. So one more question, maLeK. If you get one more question, you get the HLTV shirt.
I'm very
excited.
I want it. I want it. Let's go.
Got this.
You also have the Bleh help if you need it. What was the name of the last team Zeus played for, standing in not included? Was it Luminosity, Games Academy, or Immortals?
Okay. Easy.
Seems
I
like
mean,
an easy one.
I say easy, but like once again, let's wait confirmation. But I think it's an easy one.
I think I know.
Well,
This as well.
he did play as a stand-in for MIBR, for Liquid, a couple
Yeah, he
of
did.
times.
He did, yeah. But he came back.
his-
He coached and he came back to play at some point,
Yep.
Yes.
like as a player. Yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
remember that.
And you went for Luminosity.
Am I
And
wrong? Am I right?
It was actually Immortals.
Oh no! Luminosity was he was coaching them, and he left
Yes,
Luminosity.
he was coaching them.
And he
then
went to play
left
with
for
Immortals. Bro,
He still wins, right? I mean, 3
I'm
Not
not
yet.
sure. Could be a tie.
Could be a tie.
Oh
Could
yeah,
be a
yeah,
tie.
yeah,
tie?
yeah, yeah.
We don't know
Ah.
what happens then. We have to figure
We
something
give
out at
two
the spot.
t-shirts away, I guess.
two
Oh,
t-shirts.
we cut it in
That's
half,
gonna be hard,
obviously.
man.
It's
That's-
out of budget. I repeat, it's out of budget.
Okay, let's go. Last question. What team did Ariel play for before joining ENTS? Was it A, Havu, B, SJ, or C, iGame.com?
Oh, it would be full random because I don't know at all.
Ooh.
I don't know what he
Bleh,
played with.
maybe
I
Bleh
don't
can
think it's
help.
Havu,
Bleh,
though.
you can ask Bleh for help.
It's
Oh
not
yeah,
Havu.
I asked
It's-
Bleh for help.
Okay, it's not Havu. I know that. I think it's
Yeah, it's not Havu. It's
Super
SG or
Jimmy
E-game.
or
Maybe
okay.
E-game? No, I don't know. It's full random.
One
you know
second.
what? Okay, I gave it. I gave my answer.
You
might
did?
be wrong. Yeah, I might be wrong, but fuck it.
But
I
fuck
think
it.
That's
you need to
basically
press
our-
still.
Is
Okay,
it?
you both went for Super Jimmy. And that is correct.
Ooh, Bleh, you
Is that a
the man.
draw? Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
So
It's
the final
5-4.
score is 4-3.
4-3.
maLeK beat Twitch chat. Only with the help of Bleh. Only the
Yeah.
second
Get fucked.
person
Zoomers
to
get
ever
fucked.
to ever beat Twitch chat, and you get HLTV shirt.
A
And all three-
Final
shirt.
comments. What do you think about this match?
I'm very happy. It was very entertaining. Thank you guys for the game, and I just made it close just for the spice of it.
Get good.
Of course. Leave your address to the producers after the show.
I
Thank
will.
you very much.
I will.
Let's go on and let's talk about the last big thing we have here, which is the new major system. Let's just get our initial thoughts. Actually, ask Striker to kind of explain what is going on actually right now with the major.
Well, they basically, you're giving it to me when we came out during my vacation, but I remember it, fortunately.
Let's just pause for a second. He took vacation during Corona to stay at home.
I didn't stay at home actually, but that's whatever.
So you're not listening to the government and shit? I'm gonna report you, Striker. That's what's gonna happen.
That was out of society. That's the big point, right? Anyway, well, basically, like instead of having like the previous the Starlighter major like qualification system, ESL kind of came up, or maybe it was like in combination of Valve came up with a major ranking system, I guess you can call it, where you have like a series of tournaments in like obviously across various regions, because regions can't play against each other at this point. So in each region, there's going to be a set amount of major slots, like a set amount of legends, set amount of challengers, set amount of what's the last one called? Contenders. There you go. Each region is going to have that, and like they're just going to play some tournaments in every region, a couple of tournaments, and at the end of it, whoever has the most points, based on points, they're just going to invite teams to the major. That's the gist of it.
So Bleh, what was your reaction when you saw this? Yay, nay?
Yay, obviously, in my opinion. I think it makes complete sense, like considering it's going to be happening in November, right? The major. Yeah. So obviously we're going to have a lot of teams drop off, especially I don't really think it's going to happen to the top 20 teams, all the main teams, but many of the minor teams who did qualify, are they even going to be a lineup by the time the major happens, right? There are a few lineups who managed to qualify who aren't real teams. They just like a bunch of Pug Stars, whatever, who came together. One very obvious example being Camel Riders from the Middle Eastern qualifier, for example. I don't want to like pick on them, but there are many teams out there like them. So it makes sense that they're doing it this way. Personally, I feel like they could have expanded it out a little bit more, especially when it comes to like, some of the more further regions when it comes to slots being opened up. Maybe have a couple of online qualifiers, so have to give other teams a few more opportunities to get those points instead of locking it down to the ones who qualified for the Asian minor or the EU minor or the CIS minor for that matter. And it's online, right? It's not like you're going to have to do a LAN and there's not much of an investment that way. Fuck it, just do like a 2-day single elimination open bracket. That itself is something. It's an opportunity for teams to play it out. So that's the only complaint I have. Apart from that, I think, it makes sense. It's a good approach to a pretty hard problem.
But there are still like opportunities for more tournaments to pop up, right? Because
later on, absolutely, I think we might have, from what I've understand.
Yeah, it should not be just one tournament based on which like the Road to Rio that should determine it. There's like some other tournament organizers can also pitch in with their ideas, so there could be like potentially multiple, or they should be multiple anyway.
Yeah, I think it is kind of hard to actually grasp what is going to be included into everything, because they didn't really set out the whole roadmap, because everything obviously is happening so fast, so they have to kind of put things together last minute. As we see, like this Road to Rio tournament came over like 2 other online cups, like the Star Ladder one and another one, like the Home Cup and Loot Bet. Everyone thought this part of the year was empty now, and then this dropped and fucked all of these small organizers. But what can you do? It happens. But yeah,
I think we can kind of safely assume that it was going to be like similar to, at least like the limit is going to be similar to what they planned for the fall major anyway. Like originally, when it was supposed to be like three events basically that counted towards the major ranking, which is the major itself, and then 2 other tournaments in the span of like 3 months or something it was. So I think it's going to be somewhat similar, where it's not going to be like whatever 5 to 10 events that's going to decide. I think it's going to be like 3 to 4 maybe in total. It's not going to be like a massive amount, I don't think.
What is maLeK for you guys when you saw this news? How did you kind of react to it now that you have to qualify for a major like fully online almost? We don't know what's going to happen in the second part of the year. Maybe we have some lands then.
We actually don't know. Like the first part
but for now we're thinking like everything's online. We have to play this Road to Rio thing, and it really depends on how you do in the Road to Rio if you're going to go to the major. So how does that feel?
I think it's fair that there is like this new process in place. So we took it like quite positively. You cannot like hold the spot for more than a year. That doesn't make any sense. So I joined Bleh on this one. We are happy with this. I just would like to know how many points do you get as we were like, for example, coming out of Challenger, like, and how it will pans out, like, from where do we start? Because I don't think it's a heaven
I think
start.
I think it will be.
Now you're all starting
Is it
at
all
zero.
from zero?
I'm
like
pretty
if
sure,
you
yeah.
are like a legend team, you are starting exactly as equal as the minor team. Are you sure about this?
I think basically it's just an invite system, similarly to what the potentially maybe the major is going to have like some sort of play into it. But from what I understand, it's going to be basically the same as the major ranking was supposed to be for the fall major, where it's just like everybody starts at the same level basically, and just invites to the next tournament are based on like whatever the ranking looks like at this point. So you got invites based on being a challenger from last time to this major ranking series, and then to the next one it's probably going to be like combined with this tournament, like the ranking.
I have one thing with me, like information that I got.
It's I don't know, it's possible.
I see that penalties for legends or returning challenger team. I see something here saying that yes, because wait a second, I'm reading to make sure I don't say stupid thing. But I actually think that RMR, so regional
major ranking,
ranking, based the points are based on their results at the last major. They will also incur penalties if they made lineup changes in the last major. Like, so I from my understanding, I think there is like some points for the guys that hold the spot already.
Okay.
I mean, I can be wrong, but it's what I understood.
I'm not sure that was ever said anywhere like specifically, so I'm not.
I mean,
it could be true. Like from what you read, it sounds like that.
From my knowledge,
hear anything
but
either way.
Once again, I'm not so sure. I just think first of all, why do we get invited? Because we need to hold a spot. So the Legends team are invited in that thing, like on a road to Rio. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the first step. And if I'm coming out of Legend and I'm got 5 players that are the same, like Astralis, for instance, that didn't change anybody. So they are Legend stage, and they have 5 players, so they didn't change anything. So they have all their points as a legend spot. Like this is what I hear. And then they are invited and they got 100 points. I don't know, randomly. And us, we were like challenger, so we have challengers points, but we lost 2 guys in that, so we will decay in points.
That makes sense.
And then we will start from 40 points because we lost points and blah blah blah. But minor team Heretics will start from 0, and then they need to grind it back. I mean,
that makes sense.
I think this is what I understand from it.
It actually is in the blog post someone wrote in the chat, so I'm just dumb.
I don't know how much I am right to speak about this, but I thought common knowledge, I guess it's just important to understand that invitation will be a part of it, and do you have the same roster or not, it's also impacting. And I don't think there is a chance for everybody but to qualify, but I do think Astralis will have more points than Heretics from the beginning.
There is a part about that. It just slipped under the radar, I guess.
But there is no clarity on like
we will see later. I don't want to say anything official. It's just like from the understanding and some feedback we could have. I mean, this is how we are understanding the situation.
I mean, that's how I also understood like the original major rankings was supposed to work. So I think that makes sense.
What did I want to say? I think
then the winners and
losers, trying to
we
say
can
something,
point out,
and I wanted to add on to that.
Sorry, but like from that point, you can having like more clarity on what are the winners and losers of that thing. Like because I think it's one of the question. And being a legend and having the same roster, even though you play online and even though blah blah blah, you still have some points. You still are a good team anyway, and there is no problem for you. And I also think the winners will be the team that didn't qualify in the first place. And so that's
OG,
the main.
Right?
OG,
like
for
somebody
instance.
like OG.
I don't know if there is other big contenders that didn't qualify in the first place, but.
I think just talking about winners and losers, I think one of the losers must be like Contact as an org overall, like because they paid essentially for a major spot when they bought that 3-4 players. So that sucks for them, but at the same time. They don't seem that involved in the game or anything anyway, so they're just happy with whatever is going on. I don't know, like, I guess like all of these EU minor teams, I think Fnatic and IP that needed to go to the minor, they're winners of this. So they can, just the fact that you have to go to a minor where 2 or 3 max teams can go through, and now you're like on equal playing field. Okay, you don't have all of the points, but you can play like 16 team tournaments, a couple of them to get points to get to the major. I think Fnatic is a massive winner of this change.
Yeah,
that's true. That makes sense. Also, yeah,
also looking at the form right now as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Online especially.
Also, the teams that are out and are kind of like looking at a good spot, like OG, like maybe Heroic, or like a Big that also kind of got better as of late. So I think those 3 are also good ones.
and we are having one more. How many? I think we have more slots, or how is it? I think there is also slots.
Oh yeah, Europe has like Europe has how many in total? Is it half? I was just writing. I forgot the exact numbers.
Take a look real quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
While we're doing this, I just have an announcement that G2 decided to give away a jersey since maLeK won our stuff. So we just need to roll like a giveaway from the chat. So whenever Lucas is ready, just roll one and pick a winner.
Okay.
That's it. We're getting more job to Senor Lucas.
No, I think is it same? Did they announce about slots distribution already?
Yeah.
It's official, yeah.
Yeah, and now the contract went back from NA to Europe. Then that part also
exactly.
got
so that's
changed.
why there is like three legends, 6 challenger, and 2 contenders.
Yeah.
In Europe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look and trying to find the original news, but it's something like that. Yeah.
So 11 European teams qualifying. Regarding the fact that teams that got points from last major get a bit ahead. I think
5 from NA.
I think there is space for teams like OG and stuff to get into 11th spots. I think it's completely doable for these teams to get rolling, specifically if it's not based on one best of one qualifying, but more like a lot of tournaments, like, being consistent on a proper level. I think it will be.
I can see now it's 11 in Europe, 3 legends, 6 challengers, 2 contenders.
Yeah.
North America has 5 now, 3 legends, 1 challenger, 1 contender.
Yeah.
CIS 2 legends, 1 challenger, 2 contenders, and then South America, Oceania, and Asia have 1 contender each.
That's not a lot.
That's 24 in total. Yeah.
Bleh.
Give me Bleh.
Okay. Sorry. I wanted to have, because I never speak about Asian scene. And what do you think of Vichy Gaming beating Tyloo here and there, or like the Chinese thing that seems to develop a bit last month? I mean, this is what I hear. Maybe not on the competitive level, like on HLTV, you don't see like many Chinese teams around. But like, do you have any insight of or lights that you can share?
Yeah, well, mainly for Tyloo, it was Bentet who was in-game leading. And, front-fragging everyone. So him leaving was Tyloo, like, really, really struggling quite a bit. And also, VG have the best in-game leader in Asia. They have Advent. Problem being with VG, they don't have the firepower. But when it comes to their matchups, it's like VG's they just play better Counter-Strike. They just don't have the firepower. And they just keep beating Tyloo time and time again. And also, Tyloo, they have... who did they pick up? I think it was Zine or Zeta. They picked up Zeta.
Yeah, the young Korean guy.
Korean guy, and he can't even speak Mandarin. So when you talk about language issues, can you imagine? Like, they don't even have a common language. At least in your team, even the French players can't speak some English.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's messy.
Okay. So matchup is the reason for you, and Advent is a great in-game leader. I'm learning things. Thank you for this.
Yeah, he approaches Counter-Strike, in my opinion, the right way. A little bit more of an EU approach, right? He has roles. He does a lot of anti-stratting, like reading teams and everything. While Tyloo is more like somebody pushed smoke like 15 rounds in a row, and somehow they win the game. So it's very different styles. But I really do like VG, and I would like to see them qualify for a few events, or at least get their visas or something. I think they did win the Pro League, right? I think they were supposed to play Pro League, and then Tyloo replaced.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
Yeah. So
that's why I was a bit interested, because I don't follow so much. So
Just shortly, what do you think this will, like all of these major changes? Obviously, before we had the minor, so 2 teams at least from the Asian minor went to the major qualifier.
Yeah.
How is it going to work now? Like, it's still the same thing, right? It's still
Well, it's
one from Asia, one from
Oceania.
Yeah, but it actually worked the same for like 9 out of 10 minors, I think.
It's not going to make a difference. I'll be honest. I'll just put it out here. We're not going to see a good Asian team in this iteration of Counter-Strike. It's not going to happen. It's regressed.
What about the Australians? Do you think that has because Renegades were on a decent run, and now this is gonna kind of set them back, I feel like, quite a lot.
It's gonna set them back. Like, they're gonna be going back. It reminds me of Vox Seminor, or like an old Renegades, like Sponge's team back when they were in Australia, and the competition was shit compared to what the level that they were playing at, right? So them moving out to NA really helped them out. Likewise, I always looked at like this current Renegades lineup, the old Greyhound lineup. They removed Dick Stacy, they picked up Hats, they were looking really good as well. So I think they're going to be hit the hardest, because I really agree with you that they would have really improved. They had the potential, they had the right firepower, and I think this lineup could have done a little bit of damage. Maybe not a top 10, but at least maybe a top 20 placing worldwide. They made things interesting. They would struggle a lot. And the rest of Australia right now, I don't think they're even close to the level of these guys. You're talking about Order, you're talking about Avantgarde, Chiefs, Avant Chief. They're not at the level of Renegades. And then you have 100 Thieves above them, right? So
yeah,
I think Renegades and 100 Thieves are the only 2 relevant teams right now. And
yeah, the
Tyler,
problem is when regarding major slots, the problem is when the 100 Thieves drop into this. It's basically probably going to be like 100 Thieves Renegades going through now. Like now, not now, but potentially down the line.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it's looking like, right? Tyloo, though, I mean, we saw them in Pro League. They won the just one map against maLeK, against G2 and Dust2,
Yeah.
which honestly they shouldn't have won. I felt like G2 kind of dropped the ball there on that map. But at least, I mean, they've been around EU for a while now. They're bootcamping there. I don't think they can come back right now. So hopefully things change. I saw some cool things from them. A lot of setups and a lot of execute-based approach, which is very different from the Tyloo that I know. And they stuck to it. That's a good thing. Even though they were losing, their Inferno pick they just kept losing on that map every single time, but they kept going for that map. It's like they were really working on it and trying to be different instead of just going full Tyloo, just rushing in and trying to outgun each other. So I do have a little bit of faith that at the end of all of this, that bootcamp might improve them a little bit. Yeah. But listen, man, I've been saying that for like 6-7 years now, and nothing's really worked out. So
let's wrap this up and go into playtime, where you can just answer some viewer questions, and if you have any questions for each other to finish off the show. So let's roll the playtime. Are you back? We are back. Let's for a start, let's roll this giveaway. So I said G2 jersey. It's not a G2 jersey. It's a shirt, so it's different apparently.
I'm going to join in as well.
Right, G2 shirt in the chat. To get it, we'll draw in like 30 seconds. In the meantime, I'll try to find some of these.
Watch Bleh get the fucking shirt now.
That would be amazing. Rigged. I mean, he did help maLeK win, so it kind of works. I guess they send everywhere in the world. I hope so. If not, well,
I'll pick it up next time I'm down EU. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good. Are we ready to draw it?
Yeah, let's give them a couple minutes or something.
Okay, then let's find some questions. Like on Instagram, people sent a lot of questions.
Okay.
People are asking, how is HLT adapting the way it assigns rank points to deal with absence of lands?
Actually, I can answer that if you want.
Yeah.
Because, for example, Pro League has been adjusted a little bit. Flashpoint as well, because they're actually giving achievement points, which that wasn't the case usually with online play. So basically, like, there's a little bit more. I think it's like 50% of a land that it gives to teams who win or like who get an achievement for Pro League, which is like, I think you have to be top 8 or somewhere around there, maybe top 6, like the second stage whoever gets. Is an achievement, and below that is, I think I'm not even sure exactly, but just generally there's a bit more points on the line for Pro League and Flashpoint for the time being, and I think as more tournaments come, like Masters and whatever else is going to be played online, that's going to join in as well. So there's just online play is obviously the only thing that's happening right now. So it has to have a little bit more of an impact than it usually would. Otherwise, we would just like roll on whatever happened like half a year ago, which is also pretty irrelevant at this point. So it just has to have a bit more of an impact.
Okay. So are you saying, just because I'm interested in this just slightly, like so it's half of it, like in total points, like if I do top 4 placement in Pro League, I have half of it. If I do top 4 in Pro League this season online, or it's more like just on the achievement part of it that is half of it? And
no, it's half compared to like what it would be if it was LAN, basically, not like half of what
I see,
overall.
Okay, I see. Cool.
Yeah, because like the ranking points are divided in 3 categories. It's form, achievement, and LAN, right?
Yeah.
Is that the 3 things? So then the LAN obviously doesn't work, but form you can get online in LAN, and then the achievement part was mostly also LAN, just like where you finish at a LAN. So that part is now also being added to Flashpoint in Pro League, so we can have more points going around and people can move up and down. Obviously not ideal, and it's not like this is the ideal way of using the ranking or anything at the moment, because it's made for a lot of LAN play, but it's probably going to be looked at if 3 months from now it still doesn't look good, probably going to be tinkered with a bit more. There's a question for maLeK. How do I open this? Yeah, let's
we can roll it now.
Let's roll it. How do we see the winner? Okay. Here we go.
Not a subscriber. Reroll.
No,
not a subscriber. Yeah, he doesn't win then.
It's not Bleh. What a surprise. Bleh. What a disappointment.
Thank God. Oh, thank God. It would have been like called as rigged if I won.
Should have gone to our number 1 subscriber who's in the chat, Antelope guy.
How the coaches adapt to the new weapon meta. I don't think that really changes a lot. There's a question about Scream, but considering him playing like Valorant 24/7 now, I don't think like, is there like, as maLeK is French and Scream is like a very popular player, let's ask that question. Is there a chance for Scream to come back through like the French scene or anything?
I think do we speak about Vitality? Okay, now Vitality is the only top full French team, because we are international. And even if we were speaking last year, when we were still French, I don't think he would have a spot on G2 or Vitality, and it's not towards him specifically. I think he should have, if he stay in France, rather go a step back to go a step up with young players. Like we see Kyoshima playing with Heretics. And I think in France there is space for doing so. I also think there is Nivera, the op. It's a little brother of a Scream that is actually doing very well, by the way. So he could have do that. It's up to him, deciding that, okay, I am maybe a star, but I will accept to go a step back to get up again. Otherwise, the only options would have been probably international and just showing himself and like showing good motivation and like staying connected socially with the right teams and trying to find a spot. I think it would have been possible, and it's still possible. But for me, right now in the States, it looks like this. It looks like this. I don't see him come back to Vitality anytime soon or something like this.
I'm still looking through the questions. A lot of things that we talked about. Will God Olaf come back with the new Tec-9? Will ImAPet
Dude, I'm just
join?
hoping that kind of CS is not going to come back.
Will ImAPet join MIBR? That's also a question.
That would have been funny, but no way. I don't see it, yeah.
Look, by the way, that's one question we can get into. Where do we see ImAPet go, considering like the only other top team he can join is basically Liquid? Or maybe like, I guess, 100 Thieves. Like, obviously, if they were up for changing coaches.
Or maybe he could join Liquid as an analyst, maybe an extra addition. They do have a pretty big crew around that team, I guess.
Right. Is it doable to do this when you have been coaching so long on a daily life to accept to get back to the analysts and staying there?
Maybe as an
it's up to him,
who's more on hands, maybe.
Yeah, I see.
Like a co-coach.
Yeah, like an assistant coach type thing. I can see that happen, I guess.
yeah, it's maybe possible. I don't know him personally, but like if he's really into stats and that he's okay to cohabitate with someone and like it's fitting well, it's doable. But
he's definitely very analytical from what I know. And generally,
Yeah.
that's how he started as well. Like he
yeah.
started being an analyst before he went into coaching.
I
So
still see him having a shot with the team as just head coach and just maybe I'm wrong actually. Once again, it's up to him. But like, can we have a look on the ranking and maybe see? Because now it's random.
because if you go around North America, I guess that's not going to be 100 Thieves, but whatever. But let's say 100 Thieves are in that discussion as well, even though I don't think they would change Kosad anytime soon.
No.
I think they're pretty happy with that arrangement. But then there's Genji.
Only-
Genji actually would make a lot of sense. Obviously, Almapati is there, but
Daps?
ImAPet, yeah, because of Daps, the Daps connection.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense with Daps. I think they are fitting well, and but
But we don't-
Elmapet is doing a good job. No, I don't know.
It's hard to say. It's from the outside. I haven't heard much from him, or like I don't know him, so it's hard to say for me.
Genji, yeah, maybe.
It's interesting though, because if he does go out with Daps, there's going to be the question, when Daps was let go for Stanislaw to come in, right? How much of a say did Chet ImAPet have in that?
I mean, they are
Right.
friends. I know that they're friends with Dabs, very good friends. ImAPet, so I don't think there's an issue with that at all.
Any bad blood? Yeah, Genji would make sense.
I see one.
They look good.
I see one.
Okay.
Okay. What about complexity?
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, they
Didn't think
Keita,
about that
and
one.
I know at least they said that they're happy with him.
But I mean, what you're gonna say, right? Like
I'm
you're never
not
gonna say
judging
your
the
coach is shit.
I'm not
Yeah.
judging. No, I'm not judging the stuff in place. I'm judging the fact that complexity is going all the way, and they are building a lineup that to try to be a juggernaut. This is what they say. Yeah. So that's what I see. ImAPet. I've been taking energy, and that was what, top 15, top 20, top whatever,
Something
and
like
he did a
that,
great
yeah.
job. And he's very analytic, as you said. Now I see BlameF, that is like a hard worker, and that maybe needs some experience and guidance to get to the next step. This is what I see. I see also like this kind of Dio that want to go all the way, and there is ImAPet sitting there, maybe able to connect with BlameF and going to the next step.
Actually, kind of makes sense. Like
the last,
when you
the
think,
last time
when
I
you
had Danish connection didn't really work out too well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was Optic, obviously.
But he was, that was his config though, also. So
Maybe.
that's also kind of a
Yeah,
tricky situation.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Because
know.
last time there was that Optic Danish-American team that went to shit.
Yep.
But
Ugh,
who knows?
yeah.
But I mean, I kind of like the idea of BlameF and ImAPet together. I feel like they're cut out of the same cloth a little bit.
Don't they have a coach already though? Complexity?
Well, they have
It's the
Keita,
UK.
yeah, but
Keita,
that's
yeah,
the-
sorry.
But that's the problem. Like you don't really know much about him, and just generally, it's like a problem with CS that it's very hard to gauge.
But I think one thing that he can be the best that he can be. Like he can be super good, but he does not have that much experience at the top level, and that is something that ImAPet has. Like he had, I don't know, like 13 big event playoffs, 4 tournament wins, like that. Whatever you think about ImAPet, he has more experience that he can bring to like someone like BlameF that doesn't have the experience, right? So that on that way, it kind of makes sense. Maybe Keita is still better overall, and shouldn't stay, but we don't know that, right?
I would like to emphasize the fact that I'm not even judging the current staff. I'm just saying what complexity try to build. I'm saying like the capacity and what ImAPet did so far. And complexity is a very structured team that is anti-stretching a lot. ImAPet is fitting completely in that. So I'm connecting like this very easy.
For sure. It would be a good fit. I can see that for sure.
There are, I don't know, the other questions were, some of them were about FaZe. FaZe have been doing pretty well, but I don't think we should jump into that. We're already on the 2-hour mark. So if we have any closing remarks, and just get out of here with only 2 shirts given away. So extremely good show, I feel like. We Gucci.
Yeah.
Okay.
We Gucci.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on, Bleh, especially you. maLeK, you got the shirt, so I don't have to thank you anything. And then Striker, see you next week. Like for the next show, I guess we'll have Sponge back. He was busy with all of this
We'll see
stuff.
about that.
We'll see. Who knows? Who knows if he survives the whatever stuff is going on in Cologne. And just follow us on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and be in touch, be up to date with all of the stuff about the show. We also have an audio version, anchor.fm/HLTV, for people that like to listen and not watch. So that's it.
Yeah,
HLTV
thank you guys for having
confirmed.
me. See you.
Thank you.